This is the Rugsy. And the situation is the client the presenting problem was that she's a therapist and she gets very, very, very angry when her clients don't do what she tells them to do. I don't know if you're in the right profession. You know? Shoot yourself now, it might be less painful, you know. Very fun. It's really, and then she gets really ticked off at a supervisor because the supervisor doesn't listen to her. We have a problem, you know. Houston, we have a problem. And so we went back to she said, I just want to get down to the bottom of that. Why do I have to get angry, especially my clients? And so we took a recent event that had to do with her boss, floated back, and she comes back to a memory when she was about 5 or 6, and she's from Serbia. And in Serbia, she was, at the age of 6 or so, she was put in charge of watching a younger cousin. She calls her sister, that's the terminology there. But it was a younger cousin. And then the younger cousin, and so my client was doing her homework. By the way, the client's mother was brutally critical, as was the grandmother. And so the grandmother puts my client in charge of the young child. The young child doesn't listen to the 6-year-old kid for some strange reason. And then the child goes running in and out of the door. As she's coming in the door, at one point, her hand gets caught in the door and smashes it. Starts screaming and crying. And then the grandmother comes down on my client. And the grandmother would not listen to her. See, so that was the core event that we're about to work on. But the first thing we wanted to do was to get in touch with that part of her that so painfully had the experience of never being listened to and never believed. And so here you see us beginning to set that up. Okay.
We'll keep that in mind when we come back.
And you'll hear me introduce the whole idea of parts.
Because my sense is that stuck place, that experience has repeated over and over. And as we've talked about before, it's almost as if then there is a part of us that actually starts to carry that history. And when it repeats in the present, you get the trigger is huge.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'd like to do first of all then, so that we can get in touch with that part of you that has carried these memories, and there may be more than one part.
Mm-hmm.
But think of the part as a state of consciousness, if you will. But it's that place inside of me where I hold these memories that almost becomes like it's that really sore spot that gets hit when your present supervisor doesn't really hear you, or when your clients are not responding. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So in order to meet this part, you might say, or parts, what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to create sort of an internal meeting place or space in which you can meet with the parts. Okay?
Okay.
So what I would ask